today. A two-bit expose of the same old story that I heard yesterday. Yeah, it goes the headlines, man. They all just go to plan. They're framed and fixed and rigged. You know they're all just spam. So buckle down, plug right in. It crawls its way under your skin. Just got about from the things they spout, and it won't make you shout. Give me that good news, because I'm tired of the same old shit. That good news, because I'm tired of the same old shit.
Are we not?
There we go. Start again.
Start again. Hey, it was good practice. Hey, welcome to the grounds with Giles, Jones, Slagle, and Cappuccino, where we talk about everything from peanut butter to politics, but
No politics.
no politics, right?
Ish.
Ish. Yeah, we do kill.
We hit that gray area sometimes.
Well, that's life, right?
Yeah.
Life is a gray area.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you guys tuning in today and coming and spending time with us. And some days listening to idiots. I think that's my mic. Is that my mic?
Yeah, we're pretty hot there, buddy.
You are hot, buddy. That's what I like.
I got there's smoke coming off of Ken's head. I don't know what's happening.
Technical difficulties. Timeout. Let's start this. episode
Hey,
3.
welcome.
to the grounds. Are we back? Hot, clean?
We're good.
All right, great.
Let her rip, Tater Chip.
Let her rip, tater chip. Well,
What do we got?
I don't know. Where are we at? I think it's Crystal Lake, right?
What do we got for him? You had the topic today.
Yeah. Well, today was kind of one of those interesting. You know, people always say readers are leaders, right? And I just kind of was investigating that, thinking about it, going because I know some people that are just the most voracious readers out there and just devour everything, right?
Yeah.
But they're not a leader, right? They're not putting it into action, right? Kind of like the try versus do episode that we had, same type of thing. Like, I thought about that. I'm like, man, because I'm not really a good reader. I do it because I know I need to learn from it. But these people that just know everything but put nothing, or not nothing, but don't put their knowledge into action, right? It's like I don't know if they're stunted, afraid, right? Like they have too much knowledge. You know how those people that are so smart, they're their own worst enemy, right? They can't do anything with it.
They could tell you how hot lava is, but they can't really like run a team.
Right. Or they can't make like a cup of coffee or something.
Right.
Right. And that for me, I was interested with that. Like, you know, is it because they are so smart that they can't help themselves? Because it seems to me more often than not, people that I know, right? I mean, I could be wrong, like I am 98% of the time on the show, right? Like, but I see these people that are just such big readers and have so much knowledge that it's like they're almost stunted because they know too much. They don't know where to start. I don't know. It's kind of what my thought was on that one.
I've never heard the expression myself.
Readers are leaders?
Yeah, and I've never heard it.
You better get out from underneath that rock you've been living in, son.
Yeah.
Maybe the young kids don't know that.
Didn't know that you were supposed to. Didn't know that like your library card came with
I like that. A prerequisite. If you read, you have to do something with it.
Yeah.
Good morning, Don.
I don't remember that agreement.
Morning, Don.
Morning, Don.
I'm not saying good morning, Don.
Wow.
What's up, Donnie?
I'm not what's up, Don? I'm not following the masses. I'm going different.
Well, so, you know, Harry S. Truman, and I looked some of this up, but Harry S. Truman, who said not all readers are leaders, but all leaders are readers.
I like the way that one's posed because that would make better sense, right? If you're a leader, you would assume, right, because you are a leader, that you're a reader. But I can also throw a hole in that one.
Okay.
If you guys consider me in any way or shape or form a leader, then I completely am outside that equation, if you will. Because I'm not really a reader or have not been a reader until in the last couple of years that I've really started to pick it up and actually been able to understand my reading, if you will, like to comprehend it, right?
Mhm.
Not realizing in many years that my issues with reading was because my brain was too fast and I just had to slow it down. So I just said, screw it, and didn't read, right? Because I didn't feel like I was getting in front of it. So I learned from either watching someone do it, listening to someone do it, or pure and simply just doing it because I wanted to figure out how it was, or how to do it. That's just my brain. That's my mindset. If someone else can do it, I need to figure out that I can do it.
I think there's different tiers to leadership.
Well, and then we also have to define like what is meant to be inferred by in the quote by the word readers, right? Is it explicitly people who pick up a book and read it? What kind of book? What context of the book?
Right.
What is if I pick up a Jack Reacher novel and I read it, I'm no more informed about society than I was, but I've enjoyed a good story and my vocabulary has probably improved a little bit.
Awesome story, by the way.
Fantastic. One of my favorite book series of all time.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, what's meant to be inferred by the quote? Is there any context on that you can share with us from there?
Well, let's see. So,
because I would think it was just,
check.
I would think it was education.
correct. A lot of leaders, what they do is, and I'm going to summarize in my own head here a little bit, is they go to other people that lead and that have actually documented how they've done it, so they can put out those golden nuggets that maybe you can take from and add to your arsenal to become a better leader. I think to be a good leader, you have to know how to lead first and foremost, because part of your personality, I think it's a characteristic trait. And then what you do is you obtain knowledge for doing something. Scott knows how to work on cars really well. If the five of us went and said, we're all going to build a car together, we're all going to look at Scott and go, what's next? Right. So I think it depends on the situation. I know Scott would watch a video or study on something in the automotive world if he didn't have the knowledge to something, so he can come back to us and be like, all right, guys, this is what we got to do. So I think that all falls into the same play. Now, there are people out there that call themselves leaders or coaches because they read all these books of other people, and all they're really doing is regurgitating somebody else's words instead of utilizing it, learning from it, and utilizing that knowledge to actually do something. So I think there's truth to it. To a certain degree, but I think there's more than just if I read. Like, listen, if I read Harry Potter, doesn't make me a wizard, right?
Well,
I mean, no. Well,
right.
I know what's in your store to make you think that way, but I don't know. That's kind of my thought. Deke, what do you got?
First of all, just want to give a shout out to our good friends over at Natural Therapy Wellness Center. Obviously, y'all aren't leaders because you didn't read the damn cue card to give a shout out to the people who are giving us money to do this show. So,
well, that's your job.
Where's that cue card?
Like, why wasn't that the first thing you said when we started the
Right,
show?
right. Go ahead, tell him. He's not leading.
So our good friends over at Natural Therapy Wellness Center, thank you for your support. Check them out at www.mchenrymassage.com, 815-385-8190. And our good friends over at JH Events and Flowers. Don says, morning all. Shayna says, where is the star of the show? She is not here. She's working, obviously. And then Don says, Scott giving to himself too much credit when he said he is wrong only 98.
Welcome to the end from Texas.
And
Gotta love Don.
All leaders need to be aware. All leaders are leaders because knowledge can be found there.
Need to be aware.
Eric Bam, good morning. Pizza Friday. I'm guessing he's wearing bedazzled pants, but he says, my favorite way to start my Friday. Just kidding, but I'm still here.
We love the honesty.
As he's sitting on the toilet pooping right now.
Right.
Shayna,
Thanks for the visual.
Shayna says you can't grab life wisdom from a fiction book. You might not be connecting the humanity and character of the story. Oh, if you can't. Sorry, I missed that. It's helps if I'm obviously not a leader, can't read. So we're good. Don follows that up by saying leaders need many positive traits. I would put humility at the top of that list. Being humble, among other things, leads to them wanting to continuously learn. Reading is one way to learn. And everyone out there listening, Don. This is not Don from Grapevine anymore.
No.
Oh, that's right. He's got a new
Hope-
casa.
yeah, hopefully the move went well, brother.
Where'd you go to? What town?
Yeah, just send your address. Just post it right up there.
No, I didn't say the exact address, smart ass. I said
and
town.
Shanna says, I don't care if you are humble as long as you can back the brag. Hey, it ain't bragging if it's facts, right? And then Don
Well,
says,
it ain't bragging if you can back it up.
sometimes leaders are very smart and begin to
Pretty much
believe their
what you
own
said.
press in that regard. Oh, no kidding, Orange. Never be a thought leader. Be a thought and take action leader, Eric says. That is good. Eric says also, we don't need more self-help books. Thank you. We need to actually just buy one, really do the things in one. Yes.
Oh, agreed.
Shana says, I wonder if the smartest might not want to lead. That's just so true, too, right? That's
actually an interesting
they
thought,
work with
right?
they work with petri dishes and know how to end the earth.
The smartest are like, I'm not going to waste my energy trying to lead.
Right.
They ain't going to follow. So that's a good one.
They don't
I'm
want that
thinking about
aggravation.
right?
Yeah, they don't
Don,
want the
Don
aggravation.
says next time he's in town, he'll stop at Natural Therapy Wellness, and he's still in Grapevine one more day. Aubrey tomorrow. And
nice.
Hopefully Aubrey is not an old lady.
Yeah.
Nothing like the coffee burp, as comments are read. That's right. Let's throw this into a little bit of reality for Steve, if we can. Harry S. Truman was president in 1945. There was no Google. There was no internet.
YouTube.
There was no other way to learn other than to pick up a book and read. So we took what several people put into Encyclopedia Britannica as gospel. And we said, that's the way you are going to learn. It's in the encyclopedia. It must be gospel. So when Harry S. Truman in 1945-ish era, in the 40s, said, not all readers are leaders, he was right, because, well, some aren't, but all leaders are readers, mainly focusing to the point that you have to be open to learning as a leader.
Nice job breaking that down, Ken.
Right?
Yeah.
So as we move into today's world, it's really not all learners are leaders, but all leaders are learners. And I think that's a more accurate way to say it. Because guess what? What was it? In 2023, I read, quote unquote, 300 books that year. But I read them by pressing play, and it was an audio book. 300. So that means I'm a great leader.
And listen, folks, if you want to make an audio book,
but you could
come on down to the studio here at 216 Credit.
But realistically, I like the way you
plug.
said that. You listened to 300 books, right?
Yeah, more.
So
Mary
you-
Shep, good morning.
Right. You should have.
Hey, Mary. Long time no see.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Good morning. Absolutely. I mean, but reading it, listening, I mean, realistically, it's still, well, is it considered reading, right? Like, and I know it's not because it's listening, reading, but do you get the same effect, right? Do you gather the same information to listening to it than reading it? Like for me, like I will get a little bit different or more saturation in my brain by reading it than listening to it. Because when I read, I actually kind of talk to myself. I don't know. Depending on the day, I will go through it. It's kind of like taking notes, right? You take notes, you get better comprehension.
Shayna says Eric's on fire this morning. It just burns a little bit this morning.
There's a couple creams
You can
for
read,
that.
yeah, you can read about what will solve that, Eric. But you know what I mean? Like you listen to 300 books, you're still getting the same information, right? Or are you? I mean, that's
You're
good
getting
question.
more.
Are you? You think you get more? You
Absolutely.
I think
yes,
I think
because
it's based
going
on the
right into
person.
your subconscious.
Okay.
You're hearing it.
I think
right?
I think it's based on the person.
Yeah,
You're
it's
like, listen.
individual to individual.
Yeah.
Based off of how you learn best. Some people learn by doing. Some people learn by being told. Some people learn by reading. I personally like to read things myself as opposed to listening to them, because when I listen to them, I have a tendency to let my mind wander, and then I'll be like, oh well, shit, I got to back up the chapter now. Like, what happened?
I'm the opposite
Why
of
is he
that.
standing there with a gun in his hand? All right, I missed something important.
So,
Wait, I got to put my turn signal
so
on?
let me ask you this: what speed do you listen on?
When I do listen to an
Yeah.
audiobook, standard.
That's probably the problem. Your mind can, and that's why I was going to ask Eric as well, is what speed do you listen on? You can do it twice as fast and you're still going to catch it because that's how fast your mind works. That's why people say don't have your phone in your bedroom because all the alerts, the buzzes, even though you're sleeping, your brain is still catching.
Morning, Tim.
That, right?
Yeah.
So, hey, Tim. So your brain processes things faster. So listening is always better. Now, even though your mind wandered, which it will, even if you're reading, you go, now I have to go back and read those 2 pages.
I do that too.
Right. So if you speed it up and listen to it at a faster pace, it's actually better for your brain to gather that information.
But that explains why my wife.
Now,
she listens to 1.5 and it's so annoying.
Now, I am not a psychologist, but I did hear that someplace.
But you know somebody.
Are you
I'm not a doctor, but I play one on Sundays.
I play one hopefully on Friday nights.
You watch TV with subtitles?
Nope.
No.
I have a hard time.
It bothers me.
So
it gets in the way of the ball.
I have subtitles on with everything all the time. I'm constantly.
I can see it. You got them on right now.
I read everything as soon as I.
Thanks for visiting today, guys. We appreciate you tuning in.
That look on Steve is his subtitles.
If you want to tune in later and see if we're still live, that's okay.
That's it.
If you got the right equipment.
Yeah. So if you pay
I'll edit that in.
attention, you'll see how digital, quote unquote, information is modified without notice. No politics, but birthing persons had replaced mother. Not good. Keep your books, right? And that's true. It's the same thing with subtitles. I'm like, hot damn, and it says gall darn, or something like that in there, Or I'm like chicken shit, and it says smelly spit or something. Yeah. So Eric does at 1.25, right? I'll do it at 2. Right. It's just and it sounds a little bit chipmunky sometimes.
Totally.
But I catch it all and I can pay better attention to it
or you can listen to it twice, and twice as fast as reading it once.
I'm with Mary on that.
You got to read it.
I got to actually to retain it. I have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to get the glasses on and hold the book and.
Well, so I'm dyslexic, right? And oh yeah.
Okay.
And it's been a challenge.
That's why his girls call him Dad.
That explains a lot.
And he usually eats at noon. You're welcome.
Yeah. We're just waiting for the who's going to lead that.
So it's a little difficult. I can watch something and mimic it. I can listen to somebody explain it and understand it. I can read it and maybe get pieces of it. But I'm more hands-on, I'll do all 3 things to accomplish something if I have to. Right. It's a challenge. But I think it like he said, I think it's based on the person. So
that's funny, Don. Shana says, I went to a progressive school where we taught to speed read in 2nd grade. The brain will adapt like new eyeglasses. What the duck? LOL. And Don says, yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon.
Slowly change
one of the funniest movie line changes in TV ever. Yes, absolutely.
You ever want to watch a real travesty? Watch Scarface on USA.
No.
With commercials and the editing. Oh, it's one of the funniest movies you ever watch ever.
Which one?
Scarface on USA.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Every swear is edited, and with the commercials, the movie makes no sense. It's hysterical.
Did the movie ever?
I know I got to. It's like a Shawshank Redemption. When you actually watch the real movie, you're like, what?
You should have seen the first time
TNT's version.
The first time we showed Matt's wife Dazed and Confused, but it wasn't on TNT. And she was like, what is this scene? And it's like,
right.
This movie's been out since you're in your 40s. Like, you've seen Dazed and Confused. She's like, yeah, 1,000,000 times. And Matt was like, only on TNT. And I'm like, you've missed all of this. Like, you've never seen the movie. Wow. That's weird.
Oh my God. That's it. Mary says, I love to read, and I do get knowledge from reading. But for me to retain it, I need to either actually do it or discuss it with someone for it to stick. Otherwise, I have to constantly refer back to
refer back to material.
I don't think she's uncommon in that one, right? I mean, you read it, but it's also cementing it in, right? By doing it, you can read it, get the idea, the gist of it, then do it. And it does definitely get cemented in, or discussing back and forth with people, which is, you know, I mean, you can get your people's different take on how they took that information and retain it. You know, for me, I can read it, same as Mary, but I have to do it to cement it in, right? To really have the theory or the idea behind it. But once I actually do it, like you use the example cars, right? With cars, once I've done it, I get it. I know what to be done. It's not just theory anymore, just idea of thought. I've actually done it.
The next time it comes up, you automatically refer back to your own brain.
Right. My brain records it and goes on. But sometimes when I read, it doesn't always grab it as well. Right. So I've got to go back, either read it 16 times, right? Or get a take from somebody else that read the same thing going, oh, okay, I get it. Because then now the conversation back and forth sparked my brain, I guess, to work better than when I'm just reading and bouncing off into, you know, all my different thought processes. Right. So, I mean, for me, I need both, really. It's more beneficial for me to read it and then to actually have it solidified by doing or discussing back and forth with it. Because if I feel like, for me, if I just read, the efficacy of that is next to nothing.
IKEA has proven that reading is not fundamental anymore, because all of their instructions are just stick figures putting together furniture.
Pictures, yeah.
Oh, really?
There's no words. It's just this is what you put in.
That just says the dumbness of America. Like, we'll just send them.
They're a Swedish company.
No, but they're sending it to America for us to.
They're sending it all over
I'm sure in Sweden it says do it this way, right?
It's all over the world.
You sure?
Yeah. They don't just send their furniture.
They're not just, you know.
But that's the beautiful thing about
outside of America.
They're not just doing it so it's dumb Americans, or they need stick figures to learn.
See, the beautiful thing about stick figures is that they don't have a race, so you can send that to.
I was going to say no gender.
Nobody's offended.
Right. You can send that to Japan, and they're like, "Oh, look, stick figure puts it together this way. It's universal."
No, those guys say they're too tall.
What color? What color is the pen that makes a stick figure?
This bed is 6 feet. Yeah, proportionally, this is not an Asian guy. I'm sorry.
That's racist. What do you mean? They're stereotypical.
Allegedly.
Yeah. We haven't used that in a while.
Allegedly.
Just sprinkle it in.
So Don, thank you. Says I will spare the long details. That's all. But here's a headline from a study. IQ is not strongly related to response to reading instruction. A meta-analytic interpretation.
I was going to say, is that a new word?
Told you I'm not a leader.
Interpretations.
Right. If you are in a meeting and you don't understand something, you are more likely to ask a clarifier or nod and figure it out later. There's a lot of truth to that.
That's a question. Yeah. All right,
in a meeting, I just find the person who's paying attention the most, and then afterwards, I'm like, go over that with that.
I think for me, it would depend on what
Hook
you
me up
don't
later.
understand, right? Like if it's one of the key things in that whole discussion, that meeting, if you don't understand it, I'm probably going to wait till afterwards to ask so I don't look like an idiot.
Yeah, I just find like if Steve's paying attention, I'll be like, we need to talk later.
Right?
Yeah.
You're doing a deal on, I'm just going to say a building, right? The guy throws out some word and you have no idea what he's talking about, but it's so instrumental to this whole deal coming together. And you're going,
right.
I don't want to sign yet. Can you give me 5?
I love people that
I got to call my wife.
I love the people that use $1 million words for simple words. I love it. They make me laugh. Yeah. I'm like, all right, Captain Important.
You know somebody like that, don't you?
I know quite a few.
Is he like a chip?
I'll say it rhymes with, but
I was going to say, is he like a
but
chip?
I'll just say his name because I don't care. I'm that guy. Right.
He's that guy. And if you want, send your emails to Drew at 216 Creator Studios.
Yeah, just info at 216.
Oh, it's just the info, not even specifically.
No,
yours, huh?
no. I'm not cool enough to have that email.
There isn't. Listen, here's what I know leaders do. They subscribe to 216 Creator Studios on YouTube. They share it with all their friends. Only true leaders do that. I mean, so Harry S. Truman had something, but I think all leaders are subscribers to 216 Creator Studios. That's a new quote. If you're not, you're not a leader.
Right.
That's a new quote. That's it.
There's all kinds of great shows too now.
See, truth.
Yes.
Oh, maybe she's
very good. I was gonna say what you saying truth to.
Yeah. Maybe she was responding to that. They're having their own sideshow over here.
Right.
It's wonderful.
It's a conversation we're not involved in.
I've known too many people who are learned, read a lot, and are clueless. No guarantee. No, I mean that's true, right? I mean,
Right.
you book wise, street dumb, right, or whatever, book smart,
Book wise,
whatever it is, right? I know, I know a lot of people who are so smart they're stupid.
Right. That's kind of what I was
Steve,
getting at in
you
a
know
way,
Steve,
right?
You know,
Yeah, we know Steve. But I mean, that's got to be kind of hell, right? You have all this information, but are not able to put it into action or practice, right? For me, it'd be like either brain would just blow up.
Yeah.
I can only retain so much and learn so much at a time and kind of compartmentalize and move things around. But these, like I said, these voracious readers, it's like, what do you do with all that knowledge, right? Like, I mean, you're getting all these great ideas and all this information, and you're doing nothing with it.
There's a lot of that.
You know what I mean? So it's like that would drive me nuts.
There's a lot of that book smart, street smart that I think of when you're talking about that. Like, so my buddy's daughter, she just turned 18, senior in high school, graduating this year, right? She can't walk from the high school back home by herself. She will get distracted. Her head's in the clouds. It'll take her 4 hours. What should take be a half hour, 20-minute walk, right? But straight A's, full scholarship, the whole 9 yards. Cannot go to the store.
Snapper couldn't save her own life.
Could not go to if everybody disappeared tomorrow off the planet, she would not know how to go to the store, get supplies to keep herself alive, bring them back home, and survive. She would just sit there and be like, well, I guess I'm.
She can't order from a drive-through.
Right. No. Well, yeah.
I know people like
she'd
that.
Just be sitting on her phone and Googling, like, why am I so hungry?
Right.
And it's like, right. Yeah.
Because you didn't eat food. That's the stuff that goes down your throat and goes.
But she'll have a quantum theory conversation with you.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
Yep.
right.
She'll explain the backstory of.
That's my oldest child, by the way.
Don says that I'll not name him, but I had a boss I called BI, brilliant imbecile. Smart as anyone in terms of most business aspects, zero human interactions.
Oh, he's got a Kris Kringle too. Awesome.
Yeah. And then Shana says, I won't be Pacific with her. which is back here. I find the misuse of big dollar words to be entertaining. Same but different. I won't be Pacific.
Pacific.
It's good stuff.
So fun.
So
Right.
Does it bother you all if your leader isn't a learner?
Well, certainly.
No. I mean, why would it bother? I mean, I don't know why it would bother me if my leader isn't a reader. He's my
Learner.
Learner.
Oh, learner.
Learner.
Well, okay, so let's look at it this way. If your leader is not a learner and you're following him,
Or her.
Or her.
Well, my thought would they'd have to be a learner for me personally.
or they, them, I don't even know what to say anymore.
Well, you don't even
So
get-
listen, if they're gonna walk off the cliff, are you gonna follow?
No. I have a brain to think for myself. Right.
But they learned just to keep walking straight. They didn't know how to turn right. Right?
That's it.
Or left, eh?
Or left.
No, I get it. I get what you're saying. I totally follow what you say, but I mean,
Well, and then the more you know about what you're doing, and the more you can identify
So
the person that you're following doesn't know what they're doing, the harder that's going to become. And if they refuse to learn, that's a whole nother level entirely.
That's a different show.
Shana says you
Right.
can't follow stupid or fix it. Don.
you
Right,
can't,
true
you can
statement.
follow, but you can't fix it.
We've all worked for a bad boss at some point.
I do every day.
Whoa.
I
I don't
So
even.
trouble,
Why did you
man.
sniff the microphone?
Yeah.
That's
Looks
so
like,
weird.
Looks like he's on the couch tonight. dude.
That's
Well,
You
That's
better
why he built that other doghouse in the backyard.
You wondered what that
He
building would be
literally
done
has his
for.
name on it.
Hey, it's gonna be warm outside tonight.
That's
You'll
right.
be fine. You'll be
That's
fine.
right.
To me, for me, I guess it depends what I'm doing, what the leader is doing, right? Because if they've got, so let's take the military for example. If you've got hours and hours and hours of combat in your back, right, and you've got so much experience that or even let's take gaming for example. If you got so many kills, right, I'm going to follow you. Doesn't mean you're still learning. I may not know if you're a learner, but you've got a lot of experience. You've done the learning perhaps at that point, right? And I'm, Steve, he's got, a body count of 5,000 or 500,000 or something. And I may have a body count of 6. I'll be like, I'm going to watch what this guy does, and I'm going to follow him because obviously he's killing a lot of people. When I say that, we're talking about gaming people.
Certainly, yeah.
We're talking-
Right.
Yeah. Well, it was nice knowing you guys.
Exactly.
On the
Well, the
grounds.
show's been on, but thank you. We're canceled now.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
And Bob, good morning, Bob says,
Morning.
if they are not a learner, they are not really a leader. I would disagree with that.
I was just gonna say I don't think that's true. I mean, if you're not learning, I mean, that's they're leading. Like,
Right.
They may
Right.
no longer be
But-
in the process of learning,
But
they
right.
probably
I was
were
just
one
gonna
time.
say
So-
that person. So I was gonna
Yeah.
use like a skier in this example. You have to learn to do something right, but they might not be learning anymore, right? Like I can learn from a leader in the skiing industry, but he might not be learning anymore. He's already done it. He is a learner because he learned how to do it. Now people are watching him and maybe learning from him.
So I've always been a big proponent of when you stop learning, you're dead.
That's right.
True. Yeah.
100%.
So no matter what you do, no matter how good you are at it, you are still going. I mean, if you're doing it, you're still learning, and if you're not learning, you're dead. So I mean, yes, you might follow me, and yes, I did put in the hours to learn how to play that game really well. And the evidence is right there. You can see it. I obviously put that time to learn.
Right.
But as I'm playing, I'm still learning. You're always learning. Your brain is functioning, then you're learning. You're following me. I'm learning from you. You might only have 6. I might have 100,000, but I'm watching
But
you and I'm still learning something.
You
from
might have done
What you
something
did-
that
what
he
not to
didn't
do.
realize. Sure.
I learned Kent is horrible at this game.
There you go.
Right. And if you're-
I learned he has no idea the color red and blue are different.
And if you're a 10,000 hour ski instructor and you watch some kid do something stupid you never thought was possible and they wipe out horribly, you're like, hey,
That's
I just
learning.
learned something new.
I'm putting that on my training, right?
That's right.
100%.
Right.
100%.
And
True.
it's, I mean, the learning every day might just be something you already technically knew, but you look at put a different angle to it. Go, wow, I didn't think about it that way, right? I mean, and you
Shayna's great.
what?
If you touch a hot stove more than once, you're missing a key trait of leadership.
And probably some skin too, right?
Yeah, my grandmother, God rest her soul, always said that too. The day that you don't learn something is the day.
Yeah,
that
my
you
mom
don't.
said
Right.
that. Yeah.
I think pretty much all parents,
Old
at
school
some point,
people,
right?
old schoolers,
right?
man. they knew
Because I
that
mean,
shit.
it's
Yeah, and Bob says if you're dead, you're certainly not a leader.
Tell that to
Then-
David Koresh.
Whoa!
Jim Jones, my Uncle
Different
Jim.
story.
Not-
Different
not,
show.
not true. There was a man named Jesus. Everybody's still following.
Yeah, there you go. He's dead. True.
No, he's not.
He put that
Or
in.
is he? He did come up.
That's
He
correct.
rose.
Yeah, maybe you should go back to Catholicism 101.
Yeah.
I'll pass, but thank you.
I mean,
Hold
no,
on,
that might be 201
Let me
after
turn on
the
my
guilt.
guilt switch to prove that I have that knowledge.
Yeah, right. Let me turn on my guilt switch.
We would be nowhere without the commitment of stupid people.
Oh, I love
It's
that.
true. I
That's
mean,
a great statement.
Listen, I will sit and watch the Three Stooges for hours. If there's a Three Stooge marathon going, I'm watching it. I love them, and they're pretty stupid.
That's a commitment.
But they were brilliant leaders in the era of physical comedy.
That's true.
Mm.
That's true. People learn from watching them do stupid shit.
I mean, you don't know how many times my brother hit me with an anvil.
Yes, we do now when we talk to
That's
them.
right.
It makes more
There
sense now that you've
it
clarified
is.
that
There
with
it
us.
is.
I like how he twitches every time he says it. Right.
Hey,
We need to
just
get
a
him-
second, guys. We have to do this real quick.
Well, that's a bummer. And so is that. Negative. Angry. Hateful? No. No.
Tired of negative content that brings you and your algorithm down, ruining your day? Don't be that guy. Level up your screen time. Welcome to 216 Creator Studios. We are fun, funny, informational, educational, entertaining, motivating, and we are here for your listening and viewing pleasure. Make sure you check out The Grounds every Friday morning. We live stream at 7:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. Kent, Drew, Scott, Steve, and Kelsey will make you laugh, cry, and learn something new. Or how about Let's Talk Local, a community podcast spotlighting local businesses and events and the stories of how and why they do what they do. Or how about Around the Piano, where Tim Paul and Drew Cappuccino interview new, talented musicians as well as some of the great titans of the music industry. And if none of that strikes your fancy, how about one of my personal favorites, The Stories of the Paranow? Watch as Seabass, and myself research, react, and judge some of the craziest paranormal articles and videos that we can find on the net. And if none of those strike your fancy, we have so many other shows to watch, and we're bringing new ones in all the time. So go to YouTube, 216 Creator Studios, hit that live tab, hit that like button, that share button, that comment button, that subscribe button, ring that bell so that you never miss an episode. Our shows are broadcast on youtube.com/@216thenet/streams. Find us, follow us, and get inspired today. 216 Creator Studios, content that moves you forward.
Big shout out to our guy T-Bone there. Hey, the Stories of Paranow tonight at 6. And this one you don't want to miss. The title, Drew?
Oh man.
That's not a really good title, oh man.
Dude, it was long. It was a long title. What was it?
It's like a white lady.
Right. A white lady, a Yeti, and ghost walk into a bar.
What do they have
I don't
in
know.
common?
It was
great.
crazy.
No, it's great. It's a great show. And one that will probably get canceled. The cancel culture will be all over that.
Yeah, we run the line on that
Tonight
show.
at 6, man. Tune in to the Stories of Paranow. Really, really, really cool show. This show, they pick apart paranormal things. Is it true? Is it false? Coming up, probably within the next couple months, they're going to do like a shut-in at a haunted area, haunted business. So it's really going to be pretty cool. It's going to be fun.
They're going to investigate.
And these three, Seabass and T-Bone are they're incredible.
Yeah, they're good people.
But it's a cool, if you want a cool, fun show, this is the Stories of Paranow tonight at 6. Make sure you don't miss that. Yeah, Don, they do. The Three Stooges make me look smart. They do. It's great. But that's who I am, right? I mean, I will sit and watch this. The stupider and the funnier the movie, the more I'm in. My mother-in-law is in town, and spending some time with the great grandbaby, and the other night, Lucy got her wisdom teeth pulled. So she's like, "Hey, let's watch Wicked." So I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna watch Wicked with you." I've never seen The Wizard of Oz front to back, right? I've never sat through The Wizard of Oz. Everybody looks at me like, "What? How is that?" It's possible. I just never have. And Wicked, I think I fell asleep like 4 times through.
So is it exciting as The Wizard of Oz?
It's a really good musical. I have no idea. I've never watched it. I just said I haven't watched it. But it's a really good musical. But Alice is like, "You're gonna fall out of that chair. You should just." I'm like,
trying to spend quality time with my dog.
It's really
staring
good.
at a screen.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
Yeah, Don says, I think it's healthy to sometimes watch something where you can just shut it all off. Dumb and Dumber being a great example. Yeah, or, another great one to watch is like Wedding Crashers.
Is that why you watch the show every Friday, Don?
That, yeah. Tune in to the grounds every Friday morning.
For Don, it's like watching Jerry Springer watching the grounds. It's hilarious.
You'll learn.
I took my girls to go see the new Snow White.
Oh no!
Yeah. Well, for me, putting hot spoons in my eyes would have been better. My kids seemed to kind of like it, so it was all right, I guess.
Yeah.
Was there
Yeah.
7 dwarfs or 8?
We don't like to be creative anymore. We're just gonna take animated movies that were made a long time ago and now make them live action.
Yeah, and give them the original German ending so that we terrify children.
Correct.
Yeah.
Why not?
No, man. A lot of those original stories don't end well.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, like Cinderella, they chop off her toes to fit in the slipper. Like there's the ending. A lot of these we make them friendly for children, and it's like
that's real life.
That's not how that
it doesn't
ended.
work. Cut them off.
Well, if the slipper fit in the first place,
right.
why did it fall off? Why did it fall off?
She was trying to fake it until she made it.
So also, the inherent problem with that Snow White movie is that the mirror was broken. right? There's no way in any universe Gal Gadot looks into a mirror and she goes, "Who's the fairest of them all?" And they show what's her face in a page boy haircut. No way. Gal Gadot looks into that mirror. It shows her standing back. It goes, "You're killing it, Queen." That's that movie over. That's it. Who's the fairest of them all? Oh, I don't have to curse anybody. It's still me. I got it. That's
My daughter looks at me during the movie. She's like, why is Snow White's eyes separated so far on her face? I'm like, what? I got nothing.
Classic.
You know.
Classic.
So there was more of us at picking the movie apart, I think, watching it than
Well, yeah, and then Peter Dinklage's whole thing. He got really upset about the dwarves. He's like, oh man, he just slammed Disney so hard.
I know he's great. Call me an elf one more time.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah, see what happens.
Hysterical.
Hey, we saw it. I mean, he's upset.
Well, he's
Napoleon.
he slammed them for their
tell Santa I said hi.
He slammed them for picking and choosing where their wokeness is going to be.
Yeah.
In his words, he's like, you change all of these, no more skin white as snow because that's offensive. And he's like, but it's still you had an opportunity for a lot of little people to play an actual role where, like, in a story that centers around little people, and you chose not to. Like,
yeah.
Well, there's only
it's more offensive doing them as fairy tale magical creatures that are CGI.
So a lot of little people is 7. Fair enough.
I can only name 3 in Hollywood that would be able to take the roles. So I like Warwick Davis.
Stallone is not real tall.
Drew Cappuccino staying out of this conversation.
I'm sitting here just smiling and looking and laughing.
Vern Troyer, Warwick
That'd be
Davis, and
Yeah, Don, pretty easy to point out who on the grounds is dumb and who is dumber. Yeah, we know that one. I'll take it. I'll take one of those monikers. You choose.
Right.
That's it. Bob says, I firmly believe that reading is crucial for developing the knowledge, skills, and perspectives necessary for effective leadership. And, Shayna, there are a lot of stupid people in this world.
Mhm.
And you can't fix
Thanks
it.
for tuning in today, guys.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Allegedly.
Yeah, right.
Clarification. I should have used term uneducated rather than stupid.
Is that
Yeah.
politically correct now?
Yeah.
You're uneducated?
Yeah. We'll let it slide. You're from Texas.
Yeah. That you guys don't know any better out there,
Right.
we've heard.
You know.
Everything's bigger
Right.
except your brains.
Oh, that's fucking Donnie you're talking about.
Please.
Watch your mouth.
Please send all
Allegedly.
your emails to the Dildo King of
Oh.
McHenry.
Right. Right.
Sausage King.
I'll take care of him later, Don.
Sausage.
earlier we had said that people who are extremely smart don't want to lead, right?
Mhm.
Like, and
Some don't because they get it.
Oh, right, and a lot of them get it. And then it makes me think of you guys know the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Hmm.
It's a bell curve for intelligence versus confidence.
Okay.
So you start here at the very bottom, you know nothing, and you have zero confidence because you know nothing, right? But then it goes up, and up here at the very top of the bell curve is the people who know just enough to be really, really confident about what they know, and have no idea what they don't know. Then it goes back down again. So then you get more intelligence, and at this far end, you're not confident at all because you're so smart. You're no longer confident. You know how much there is that you don't know.
Mm.
And then that's how the bell curve
That's
averages. A lot of
interesting.
people ride somewhere on the curve.
So do you think if you're so smart, but you put none of it technically into action, then you wouldn't be confident, right? Because if you put it into action, you're more confident, but they know.
Well, I
so
think
much they
that
can't
that falls into
change
the
it.
that falls into
Yeah,
the play
right,
of
because you're paralyzed with fear, indecision.
Well, you've got too much.
You mentioned that earlier, like
Right.
when you're paralyzed, like, oh man, I know all of this stuff, but I don't know how to handle it or what to do. Right? If you know enough to know that there is no answer,
I got
to
you covered,
anything,
Don.
and your mind goes in circles. Then
Yeah.
you don't have enough confidence
So
to necessarily lead a
what's
team.
that- What's this? It was a study you said?
It's called the Dunning.
I'm gonna bring a water bottle for Scott, and then every time he'll be like, "Bad Scott," spray him.
That's Scott. What did I say now?
He's already lost in
Am
the
I
conversation.
oblivious?
So imposter syndrome, I think, falls into play with a lot of that. You can be super intelligent, still doesn't make you a leader. It's still a characteristic, it's still a trait of a person that is able to do so.
100%.
Now a good leader will take a smart person and put them on their right side and say, hey, listen, what do you think about this? Help me lead. Because now they're getting educated into it. I think, realistically, it grows, right? You just kind of go with the flow as a leader. and you find the knowledge that you need in order to lead. And it depends on the project, it depends on the situation, it depends on the person. Not everybody is meant to lead. They can be smart, but they're not necessarily meant to lead. And if you don't have the confidence, that's one of the traits of being a leader, is being confident. And then knowing that, military, they're confident leading their troop into battle because they've worked together and then they have followed this person already, or they know their rank has been experienced. They're trained to do so, right? There's different styles of leadership.
Well, for me, when you say a leader of combat, I don't want to follow the leader that read it.
Well,
combat.
listen, I was in a
actually
situation
done it,
where I was in a situation to where I was invited to work for an organization that carried a board of directors, right? And when I got there, I realized that everybody on the board in their own head were these giant business people and leaders, right? What I've learned to find out is not one of them has an employee to fucking lead. And so
That's
then
why they're leaders.
you start doing the homework on it, and then you just kind of figure out that on a certain board. So I don't really dig boards all that much. It's a brother club. It's like, oh, my friend's going to be on the board next, but he plunges toilets for a living and doesn't lead anybody. Why are you? What gives you the qualifications to do what you do, to tell other people what to do? Right? There's a difference between a boss and a leader. And a boss is a monkey with a razor blade. Anybody could do it. They point and talk, right? A leader is one who not only works with you, but you have to be confident in your leader as much as your leader needs to be confident in leading. So I think, there's a lot of different, I think there was a term, a sovereign leader. There's so many different, everybody in their own head is something. Right. And they want to utilize the term lead or leader into that. But true leaders constantly educate themselves. If it's reading, if it's the person next to them, I sit at this table. I consider myself somewhat of a leader, but I don't know everything. So I utilize the people I'm around and the network that I create to build a better strategy in order to lead better to doing what I do. Right. I learn a lot from Steve. He's younger than me. I don't know the world today, where my generation is always like, you guys don't know what you're doing. We're Gen Xers and, blah, blah, blah. But we don't realize the world is changing and it's more his speed. So I go to him and I go, hey, man, what do you think about this? And I'll get a different perspective to where it educates me so I can move my businesses forward, or the people I'm mentoring, I can move forward. So I think it's based on the person, it's based on the scenario,
Well, in that sense, you are a leader, right? You're not necessarily reading to lead, right? But you're absorbing the knowledge.
I'm educating myself.
Right? You're educating yourself however you're doing that. So reading could really kind of be.
And Steve's right, and everybody's parents have said it, or grandparents have said it, you're dead if you stop learning. Well, there's everybody does learn, but I intentionally learn to do what I do.
Day and then just be like, hey, I know how to run StreamYard. I know how to fucking put together a package I know how to run I know how to be the editor or producer of a radio station. Like, you didn't wake up and you're just like, you know what? I'm going to do that because I knew how. Like, you woke up and you're like, I have to learn, and I'm going to have to learn very quickly every day. And
it's funny because,
you did.
So
why we're here.
A through Z in business, there's a lot of the same structure, no matter what the product is, right? When you build a business. But it was the people who have been in the space is where I've learned. I've learned from Kent. I've learned what to do, what not to do. And then as a team, we put together ideas, and then I would push those forward, because everybody's got great input on that. To be a really good leader, you have to be humble. You have to be open, and you have to know that it's okay to be wrong. And then if you're one of those people that are like, no, this is how we're going to do it because I said so, that shit doesn't fly. That's just set up for failure. You might as well just close your doors now down to the future. You worked with a bar, right?
I've worked with so many bars. I mean, that is literally, that is like that could be the poster child.
That's the
for
number
bar-
one. Throw the
bar
dart
industry.
right in the center.
Right,
100%. Yeah.
Because you start at a place and they're like, hey, I want you to help me with my bar. Those are the main issues. No leadership. So you come in and you're temporary leadership, and they're like, wow, things are amazing around here. And it's like, right, they're not going to be. You have to learn, because once I leave, it's going to go right back. And if they don't want to learn, and I tell you what, in the bar industry, maybe it's because people are hammered, but they know better. Always. Oh yeah. They don't. You can tell them anything, and it's like you literally are. You hired me. You're paying me every day. And you don't want to listen.
And you don't want to listen.
Why? To give you my opinion.
You literally hired me and said, my bar is failing. I'm going to go out of business by the end of this month if we don't do something drastic. Yep. You come in and you're like, you do this, and this. I don't really want to do that.
They can't blame you for failing, and they pay you, and you gave them your knowledge. They did. You can't make them listen.
Yep.
Right? That's the whole thing. You can lead a horse to water. You can't make them drink.
Well, and
they hired you for your expertise, and they decided not to.
And one of the things that I do when I go in is you pick somebody who can be a leader, and I tell you, it's never been the owner. It's never once. I've never done this where it was the owner. But you always find somebody who has those qualities, and is willing to learn. Yep. And you teach them. With my most recent project, that's what I did. The only reason that they're in business right now is because they had a girl who wanted to learn. She had worked really hard, and she's still doing it right now.
Which is crazy amazing that you say that. And I mean, I see this too. Like, you've got somebody that's obviously smart enough to at least start a business or buy a business, whatever it may be, right? Mm-hmm. But then they're realizing they're smart enough to go, shit, I need help. So they go out and they invest time, money, energy into getting help, and then they don't do anything with the help. Yeah. It's like, I know better than anyone else because I own the bar.
Well, right.
But you hired me to do it. You're not going to listen to me. So from your standpoint, frustrating as hell, right? But at the same token, it's like, you're still paying me whether you take this advice or not.
Well, anybody the red flag is always like, I've been doing this for 20 years.
Right. Yeah.
Or you don't know what you're talking about because I'm kind of a big deal. Anybody that throws out those are red flags, man. No matter what, right? You want to go opposite direction of wherever that is.
I would run
and
sideways.
my education really didn't come from college, didn't come from I've been in enough scenarios in business sitting in high level to where I watch owners. I had one owner that was, he was the boss, and I pay your check, and he was that guy. And I watched everything he did wrong, and I would note it, and I would be like, "Oh, you got sued for that. Let's not ever do that. Oh, this happened. Okay, so we're not going to do that." And then this is the same guy that had signs on his walls that says, "You can't deposit excuses." But then when everybody's checks started bouncing, I was like, you can't deposit excuses because on the other side of the fence, right? And so listen, you learn that's an education on somebody else's dime. Yes. Did the job suck? Was it just like so stressful and weighing on me? Yes. But it was also a college education that I got paid to go do. So that's
Hard Knocks is the best.
So when I started up my next venture on my own, it was like, okay, I already know the layout of what not to do. Right now, I just need to talk into network people to go, if I'm not going to do this, what is a better way? And then I start tagging along and start building it. Now you already have that knowledge. So no matter what industry you get in, if you find the right who, you'll get the how. And if you don't, then you hire the how, or hire the who to get the how, right? Exactly. And now you're building that network, and building relationships is such a big deal to me. Because, like, I wouldn't even know you guys, have helped so much with everything that I do, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And so as we keep bringing in a great network, and we all go, hey, listen, you brought in Bob the other day, I would be careful of that. We watch and we learn about the network and read the room together. Right. And that's awesome, because we don't want anybody in our network that's going to weigh us down.
Right. And it's like, the thing that we were talking about with the owners, that they hire this and then they don't take your information. That person is all intents and purposes dead, right?
Yeah.
They're not looking to change. They're not looking to innovate. They're not looking to just do what needs to be done.
Right.
They search for that information. They pay for the information, but yet they don't use it.
Yep.
Right. So they might have, quote unquote, read that book, but they didn't put it into action.
Yeah.
Right.
No.
So
now I
won't be a leader.
I might be able to lead in one fashion, but if you came to me and like, hey, dude, I need you to lead for me in this, I might be like, I don't know. No, I can't, because that's not my wheelhouse. You know what I mean?
Right, and
Let
that's
me help
smart.
you find
Right.
the right leader for that
Right,
wheelhouse.
not me. Let's find
Right.
out who it is,
Right.
because otherwise you're just, you're lying
Yep.
to yourself.
That's
and
right.
Causing you more, probably going to cost you more time, money, and frustration.
Yeah.
Than going out and saying, I don't know. And for me, that was very hard. And some days it is when I could admit I don't know something, right? It's like,
That's the right answer sometimes.
right, it is. But for me, it was, I was always expected that. Well, you got to have the answer, right?
Oh.
I was growing up, and it's like, you're the adult. You need to know.
Well, that's
the
why
answer.
that's when people start throwing out the wrong answer because they
Yeah.
want to be right so bad.
Right.
And then if they get challenged or questioned on it, they'll try to fight that lie.
I got so many.
100%.
Yeah.
I have so many friends that take such pride in their intelligence. They define themselves like, this is my thing. Like I don't do anything. I'm not social. I don't party. Like I don't.
This
do
is my
anything.
superpower.
Right.
Right.
Like this is my thing. I sit in front of the computer and I'm smart. And my only problem with that is that when you have a
That's an
conversation with them,
oxymoron.
and when they say something that you don't necessarily agree with, they start doing that and they start throwing out information that maybe they didn't know, or they'll say something and it's like, are you just saying that?
Right.
And it's like, right, because you have to cover. It's like, I can't be wrong. And it's like, no, you're allowed to be wrong.
Yeah.
100%.
It's okay to be wrong.
It's totally fine. It's nothing against your intelligence by not having heard something. The sheer amount of information on this planet, just by not having heard it, doesn't
Well,
make you dumb.
And we've talked about this at the table before. Once again, opinionated data versus factual data. Everybody wants to spew something about what they know, but they heard from. Okay, where are your resources?
Mhm.
What is the data coming from? Is it from Sally down the street? Okay, I'm not going by that. What does Sally know about anything? I have no idea. I need facts. Factual data tell the truth. Facts kind of suck because it can hurt your feelings. Sure, but it's still the truth. How are you supposed to adjust and grow unless you actually go by real data? That's why social media and the internet right now get a little hard because you don't know what's what. You got to make sure that you're fact checking your data before you spew it.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
People will
Always.
let you know.
Oh, yeah.
Listener request from Shayna says it would be fun to hear what each of you credit your mother with in regard to being a good man. What guidance do you share that came from her? That'd be a good Mother's Day one. So the Friday before Mother's Day, I've written this down. That'll be the topic. What do we credit?
That is a good
Yeah.
topic.
What credit does mom get? Don says, my mom, she was a stay-at-home mom till my dad got sick and then passed away. When me and siblings were young, I saw her go back to work, and so I learned from her example. Was it how to be? So if anybody's looking for a great single mother, Don is that guy. I don't know. I guess. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good one.
But yeah, we'll do that. I think that'd be a great way to honor moms.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
Friday before Mother's Day in May.
That's a good
something a lot
episode.
It's
That'd be
not
a
probably
great
something a lot of
episode.
people don't think about
Yeah.
either, right? I mean,
Yeah.
what did you get from your?
Well, let's
parent, right?
let's be honest. Here's what I love about a lot about the grounds is that we've got entrepreneurs here, basically sitting around the table. So every time that we every time we talk about a word or a topic, we roll it into business because that's what we're very, very, very familiar with, right?
That's our brains.
And the bottom line is this: you are a leader if you have one person following you. I can go on a walk by myself and I'm leading no one. If my dog is out in front of me, my dog is the leader, right? Because what does Rakim say? Rakim will say, follow the leader, right? It's a 1980s, definitely a 80s and 90 a rap star, right? But the bottom line is this: you're not a leader if you turn around and no one is there.
You need people to
You're
lead.
solo.
Well,
Right.
actually, we didn't even pull it up. What is the definition? The actual definition of a leader?
Somebody leads.
Yeah, somebody who's in front.
Somebody who's in front, so
You-
physically in front.
Yes, you have to follow a leader, right?
Well, so I was told we had a Roger That Chronicles, and there was a gentleman that, was a leader, had his own platoon or whatever. And he brought up the fact that you have to lead yourself first. You have to learn how to lead yourself first. I brought that up before. Steve made a comment to that and was like, that makes no sense. And then I thought about it. I'm like, it kind of does make no sense because you kind of need to lead other people. That's why it's called leader. right? But I think what he was trying to say was that in order to lead others, you have to put yourself first.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And therefore, you need the knowledge of knowing what you need to do before you can take others with you.
Yeah.
So put yourself in first.
Well, it's just like an airplane. Always secure your mask before you try to assist other people.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Because you're no good to anybody if you're passing out.
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Unless you're into that.
That was a book. What was that? Good to Great.
Which one?
The oxygen mask.
See his brain. I said it.
Right.
Unless you're in there, he's like, whoa.
I know that because Jeff Lord out there. Shout out to Jeff Lord. He has read like 1 million books, and he would always say that, you know, put your oxygen mask on you first, kind of thing. That and he got that out of it. Can't remember where that was
You can't
from.
help yourself. You can't help others.
We're also a society of what I would call bumper sticker people. We get hey, not all readers are leaders, but all, you know what I mean?
Right.
We love bumper stickers, and we don't ever dig into it, but we will go and spend $5,000 to listen to a motivational speaker, and we'll come out of there and we'll say, leaders are readers. That's what I got.
Yeah, right.
I $5,000 for a saying. Put your mask on first. Now that is wonderful. How about the millions of people who've never got on an airplane and it makes no sense?
Yeah, they're like, what are you
Simple
talking
as that,
about?
right?
Or it'll make sense right when they start taking off because they will tell you in the aisle
If they ever get on a
to
plane.
put it on yourself
If
first.
not, if all you do is drive, it makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense, right? So
Unless you're in
we
a Tesla.
are, you know, we are a society of dumb
Tesla
people.
phone?
You know, I will agree with your friend in Canada, Bob. You know, let me find that. This is way up there. You guys have been having great
I
conversations.
was going to say, we missed it.
Yeah,
There's a whole story in the
I
background going on.
I just talked to a friend in Canada, and she said she can't believe how many stupid people there must be in the United States, eh? By the way, a true leader is always trying to train his replacement
Hoser.
or her replacement, Bob.
Back beer and bacon. Yeah, politically
Right.
correct, Bob. Got to make sure we're all inclusive of everybody. He, she, he,
you know, the whole thing is, you know, this thing started, and I love it. But as Drew pointed out, it was Harry S. Truman who gave us this quote. Now, it was a riveting quote back in 1945, right? Also, back in 1945, we could just say he is a good leader because, well, women had their place in the United States in 1945, and so did a lot of the ethnic groups, right? A lot has changed.
I'm sure it's still the same
Was
way
it-
at Scott's house. Right.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Whoa!
You understand what I'm saying?
New show.
So
It's 1945 at Scott's.
What we do is we grab onto a bumper sticker and we use a saying that makes absolutely no sense today to try to motivate people, sell a book, sell an item, sell a weekend, sell something, right?
Yep.
You heard that someplace, Scott, and you're like, I love it. Wait a minute, right? And
Try to pull it apart.
and if it, you know, if times have changed, right, that means absolutely nothing today. We don't give textbooks out to people in schools, to students anymore. So you're not reading, right?
No.
You're
Yeah,
listening,
you are. You're just not reading a book. You're
right?
reading a
Oh, and there's some books that are now banned, I guess, that you're not allowed to read.
That's a
Isn't
whole
that
other
awesome?
story.
The ones that actually teach them how to be human.
peanut butter.
Hey man, that's right on the gray line. I didn't say anything about nothing. I just
I
said
like that peanut butter. I'm going, what, Jiffy?
I mean, you understand what I'm saying? And we are full of that. And to Drew's point, Gen Xers, we love that. Hey, give me a Zig Ziglar quote. Give me
Right.
some motivational speech.
eat it
quote,
up.
and let me eat it up. And that's wonderful. But again, I share the story of at halftime when I'm like, how do you eat an elephant? And these 18 to 20-year-old women are like, why would you even eat an elephant?
Because they're delicious.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So we use things all the time that make absolutely no sense today, but we have held on to them and held on to them and held on to them. So if you're still leaning on a saying from 1945, you probably haven't learned.
No elephants were harmed during this recording.
One of
Let
my
you know.
one of my favorites is the people who use adages and then pull them apart. You know, bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. What do you mean? Why do I have a bird in the hand? What is that
What
even?
kind of bird?
What kind of bird is
bush?
this? Why am I grabbing birds with a bare hand
We don't
anyway?
get too many of those
How
anymore.
big is the bush?
Yeah, we don't get too many bushes anymore.
No, they trim them up.
That's right.
More than one way to skin a cat? No, there's not. You grab the cat, you pull the skin off. What are you talking about here?
And why are you trying different ways to do that?
And who's going around skinning cats? This is
for our
more
show,
of a bigger
for
problem.
our show next week, we'll show you how other ways to skin a cat. Other than just grabbing and pulling.
Right.
'Cause I found that works, but it's not as enjoyable.
Yeah, but if you're from Iowa, make hay while the sun shines is totally relevant.
Oh,
It's true.
yeah.
Well, the sunshine. Yeah.
That's very, very true. Listen, we're about 5 minutes over right now.
Yeah.
This is a great show.
We had fun.
We
was fun.
absolutely love everybody jumping in and joining us and having a good time. Remember, tonight at 6, tune into the Stories of the Paranow. Absolutely a great group. I got to sit in on this one. It's a very fun one. But it is going to be just a stitch. A Yeti, a white woman, and
I can't remember.
A ghost,
and a
right?
Russian, was it? And a
Yeah.
Russian or something? No,
Something.
The Yeti was I don't know.
I don't
Walked
know.
into a bar. Yeah.
Look for the title.
Were they
Yeah.
drinking when they came up with that one?
Nico put it out for us. So,
Yeah.
oh, and where's my flashlight? Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Where's my
Right.
flat as shadow?
Right.
What it
That's
was,
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
A Yeti, a white woman, and a shadow walk into a bar and say,
That-
"Where's my flashlight?"
Right, that's right.
It is a good one. Yes. Listen, I can't thank all of you enough for joining us on Friday morning. It's always a blast. If you do have topics, like Shanna says, send them to info@216thenet. We'll cover as long as it doesn't have to do with politics. We'll be fine, right? All good news.
Yeah, we'd
here.
love to hear what everyone else is thinking out there. Don't rely on us, idiots, right?
Yeah, right. Don't follow us. We're not real
Don't
good leaders.
follow us. Yeah, because we don't read, we talk.
That's right.
That's it. That's it.
Read-
Shout out to
Leaders
Mary
and
Shep for
talkers.
joining us today.
Yeah,
by
Mary,
the way,
Very
you.
welcome.
If you need insurance, she's a great, over there. She is a great insurance agent. And if you need things are raising, she'll walk you through it, give you a good quote.
just great people.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic. But for all of us here at the grounds, thanks for tuning in. Enjoy your Friday. We'll see you at 6
Hold sign.
tonight.
Yeah.
Hold
We'll
sign.
see you at 6 tonight.
Hold on.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. In case Kent can't remember,
There's the cue card.
There's the cue card.
That's it. 815-385-8190. www.mchenrymassage.com.
yeah.
Rub a dub dub.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. We certainly appreciate you coming in,
Take care.
spending your Fridays with us. Like, share, subscribe. Go out there, be the change you want to be in the world, and work hard. Be nice to people. Thanks, guys. We love y'all.
216 Creator Studios, your gateway to professional podcasting. Whether you're a seasoned podcaster or just starting, 216 Creator Studios offers state-of-the-art podcast studios designed to meet all your recording needs. From crystal clear audio quality to a comfortable creative space, we've got you covered. With fully equipped rooms, expert support, and flexible booking options, you can focus on what matters most, your content. Join us and bring your voice to life in the best environment for podcast creation. 216 Creator Studios is here to help you create something extraordinary.